We're back. What's the crack, Red?
What a duke.
It's happy Valentine's week to you.
Happy Valentine's week to you also.
Anything romantic or anything like that done for the week?
No, I got a card that says, "You're a dickhead, but you're my dickhead, and I love you."
That's decent. We got a you'll do card, so you'll do. It's like, all right, fair enough.
A card is a card. A card is a card.
I'm just looking at this bottle of water I have here. Did you see them deposit yolks on it? I don't know if you can see it on there. Deposit 25 cents. What do you make of all that shit, Red?
Absolute nonsense. They've already here's the problem. They don't think things through. So already you're seeing pictures and videos because people are showing up and the bottles are being rejected. So what are people doing? They're just leaving them there. So you walk past them and just loads of bottles, and then plus they're getting full too quickly. So people are showing up and then they're going, "Oh, sure, I came down here to do this and now I can't do it." So to drive back home and then come back, which ironically bad for the environment, when you can just throw it in your recycling bin.
Yeah.
Just make more recycling bins available in general. And people
it's the loony greens, isn't it? It like you're looking at a scenario with the greens
just,
where
like again it's the
yeah.
Sorry,
go on.
There's a bit of a delay here, so
yeah. Finish your thought.
My thought is it's just typical of the greens, like the epitome of we got rid of the plastic straw, so we got a paper straw in a plastic wrapping. It's just ridiculous. It epitomizes everything the greens do. It's just nothing is thought through. It's mental.
Like if you get into some of that climate stuff, like the stories coming out constantly, but there was one the other day that apparently the decarbonisation and the heating up of the planet happened maybe 80 years earlier than they said it did, which would mean that we weren't actually using combustible engines and stuff like that when the planet started heating. Like it started on its course of heating earlier than they suggested that it did. So it doesn't actually tie into their model of CO2 emissions heating the planet, you know what I mean? Because we weren't using combustible engines and stuff like that yet, and the planet was already in a process of heating, and it's gradually got more, you know what I mean? Like it's a natural process more so than
It
like that's what
doesn't
the science
matter.
is saying. But like you have a
See,
scenario
this is the
say
thing.
that
No,
you
could I just say as well, it doesn't matter because they just think, well, we our heart is in the right place. Let's just continue to do it anyway. That's what it is.
Yeah, but your heart is in the right place. It's like I'm like it's token gestures. It doesn't mean anything. Your heart is in the right place.
But that's what they do.
The right place for what? Like?
COVID was
don't kill
example.
Granny. Don't kill Granny. But it didn't matter.
Exactly, and now there's people suddenly dropping dead over the past 2 years, and they don't care.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't go
No,
into
I'm not
it.
saying
You'll
what
get
it's
shut
from.
down.
I'm not saying. Nobody's saying what it's from, but it was in the Lancet report from the UK. I think there was 28,000 unexpected
Don't
deaths.
say it.
That was
Don't
way
say it.
more. Okay, so this is an official report, and they don't know why. And the reason they don't know why is because they're not looking into it. But I thought you cared about people. Isn't the reason you wanted to get everybody the jab because you cared about people and you don't want them to die?
Don't
Well,
say
here,
it.
look at these
Don't
people
say
dying.
it. Don't say it.
What are you going to do about
Don't
it?
say it.
I'm not. No.
Don't
I'm
say
not
it.
saying. Like, I'm not saying why they're dying. I'm not
You
saying
get
how
us
they're
banned.
dying. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about the principle, and this is how they are. If they truly cared about, if the whole point of forcing the vaccine on everybody was because they truly care and they don't want people to get sick and die and yada yada yada. Well, now it turns out there's a lot of people that are suddenly dying.
We're banned already.
If you originally
I love
cared, but if you genuinely care about people, you would care about that.
They don't.
But
It's the
you
virtual.
don't.
It's
So
the virtual. It's the virtue signal, isn't it?
this is what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I might be listening.
Like
to
I
these
seen,
people.
I seen
how
an
they got-
interesting.
How these people got control of the planet is mental.
I seen an interesting video from the Super Bowl the weekend, and it was a time lapse of all the private planes leaving Vegas after the Super Bowl, and it's like an anthill, just or a fucking lava flow, just like hundreds and I think it was like 500 or 600 private planes taking off out of Vegas after the Super Bowl. And it's like, but I thought you people all cared about the planet. Like, what's going on here? You are able to private plane in and out for your for your entertainment purposes, like.
Because even they don't believe what they're saying.
No, I know.
Eamon Ryan doesn't believe what he's saying.
You have a scenario in Dublin now. You're going to have a scenario by August where you're not going to be able to drive through the city. Now, they've built a new children's hospital for the most ridiculous amount of money the world has ever seen for a hospital.
Sorry,
like I've seen
building.
Yeah, building, sorry. Because I seen they built a similar thing in Switzerland for like a fraction of the money that's twice as big. But anyway, you have a scenario now where they're going to shut down access for you. You have a sick child. You need to get through the city into the children's hospital because they had to put it in the city. It didn't make sense to put it outside the city where it was easier to get to. They had to put it in the city. But now you can't drive into the city. For you to drive across the city, you're not going to be allowed. You're going to have to go around M50, stuck in traffic, whatever, to get to a hospital that's not even open. You know what I mean? This is the
Do you want?
I'm actually sorry I'm sorry we opened up on this thought, because you get so frustrated with these clowns. They're such literal idiots. Doesn't even encompass enough of a description of how colossally silly these people are. Anyway,
and we have to trust them for our information.
Ah, yeah. Well, don't get into disinformation and all. I seen. Did you see the? You're not really on Twitter, are you? There's this.
Aston Villa scored 1-0 to Aston Villa.
No,
right.
I'm watching Spurs Wolves here. There's nothing happening really. Free kick on the edge of the box. But anyway, yeah. There's this like a fundamental radical Muslim cleric is all you could describe him as, who's in Ireland. Apparently got attacked yesterday for a hate crime. He called it a hate crime. And let's say there was disparaging variations on his versions of events as he was going through it online. But the most frustrating thing about it was, regardless of whether he was or wasn't attacked, but he's very Hazel Chewish, you know what I mean? He's a race baiter, he's a grifter, he's pushing hate speech, so naturally enough he gets a hate attack on him. You know, all this convenient stuff like Jesse Smollett type issue, it looks like it could be lining up as. But the frustrating thing is all the news stations, all the publication media in Ireland all ran the story immediately in conjunction with each other, shut off all the comments so nobody could discuss the incident, but they all ran the story. And you have these people talking about information, misinformation, disinformation. They want to control the flow of information. You have journalists who talk about, we really need to decide what is the right type of information for the public to receive and all. When with that incident in town when the little girl was stabbed and all, they want to be able to decide what is the correct type of information and amount of information you can have in every scenario. But when something like that happens, you can't discuss it. You get no information. But when something like this happens with your man, with no evidence, there's no videos, there's no one can verify you or check anything. You have all the information in the world and it's open for discussion because it's a possible hate attack by an Irish fella on a Muslim guy. You know what I mean? It's just
RTE are ideologically left wing. They're left wing. They're propaganda
100%.
for the like. Do you see the way on Facebook? If you stick on, or if RTE shows up on your feed, it has a thing across the saying state-sponsored media. Propaganda, Russian propaganda, state-sponsored media.
That's
should say that for RTE.
yeah.
RTE is the definition of state-sponsored propaganda.
Remember
Yeah,
they
but
started doing it for
RTE
America.
should have everything they have should have that tag on it as well.
Well, if you receive funding from the government, well, then you're state funded. Like if we were sponsored, if this show was sponsored, you'd have to
And
run an ad that would say this.
Sorry, no, I was going to say if like if you're not only are they sponsored by them, but you only report what the government wants you to report and how the government wants you to report it. Your state-sponsored propaganda. Put it on the screen.
Yeah, well, like we'd talk about that with China, wouldn't you? Where you'd say, oh, the Chinese media are in bed with the government, and you can't trust anything that comes out. Literally, this was, everyone would have this opinion on Chinese news. You'd say you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You don't know what to trust if it comes out in the Chinese media because it's state propaganda. Ireland is worse. Literally everything that comes out. Like when they were talking about the plastic stuff on RTE, it was like a government infomercial they were running when they were giving you the information. And it probably was a government-funded infomercial. Like, it's ridiculous. Ireland, for me, Ireland is one of the worst nations on the planet when it comes to propaganda, state-sponsored propaganda, and we have no opposition. There's no alternative media, really.
Completely, and it's so obvious.
Yeah. Anyway,
sorry, because this delay is going to kill it.
Yeah, it's popping in and out delay. But look, something I want to chat about. It's probably the most interesting thing happening this weekend, barring the footy that's on. But UFC 298, Red. What do you think? I'm gonna pull up the card here, and we can go through some fight picks and stuff like that. Let me see. Share screen. Select screen. I'm actually going to open this up in sorry, 1 second. Yeah, just if you want to have a quick chat about the UFC 298, have you seen any of the build-up or anything? Well, I pull up the card here.
Yeah, I copped a bit at the press conference. I haven't been feeling well all week, so I've been just been in and out of it all week. So I've been kind of dipping in and out of some of the press conferences. Volkanovski's all-man routine, absolute Oscar-worthy.
Brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant. Where are we?
Like the falling asleep while they're sitting there. Just so good, so good. And they give through the character the whole time. And I actually think it's actually a great thing for UFC. Do you know what I mean? Because when you have all these people who don't like UFC because they think it's all just, just violence and shit like that. Like, it shows that now these lads are people. They're, you know what I mean? And there's what's the word? There's respect, and there's a bit of laugh. It is serious, but it's a proper it's entertainment. It's proper entertainment, like. And Volk proved that on at the press conference. It was brilliant.
The pretending to be asleep and all, it's so good, like. And I don't know, do you watch your one Nina? What's her name? Nina Drama or something like that. She done one where she done an interview with Volkanovski where she actually dressed up as an old lady, like, and if he was hinting at maybe I have the outfit around or whatever, but then he came out in the press conference in it, and do you know what? In fairness to him, he has a proper outfit heading him. Like, he has a proper grandad heading him. When he puts the garb on, it's like he's a fucking model for an outfit. Like, he could be sitting outside a pub and Temple Bar, like, with a Guinness in front of him. You wouldn't bat an eyelid, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And but played it off well, and the mannerisms and the looking over with the glasses and and even the little chain on the glasses and stuff like that. No, brilliant. Because again, and it kind of like, again, just for reference, like, it's kind of me versus Chronicle. You know, where like Poirier is Chronicle and he's just shouting and he's angry, and then you just have the other person just absolutely laid back taking the piss. Like, you know what I mean? So it's
you seen when they done the face off, you seen the Poirier was kind of like, he's very respectful and look, it's an honour to fight you and blah blah blah. These lads, like, the lads are stuck in the model of how to sell a fight is the McGregor style, isn't it? They'd be brash, be disrespectful and all, like the Ian Gary stuff. And Ian Gary's just people are just bored with it, you know what I mean? So he's sitting there and he's being booed. He's like, I'm gonna show you, and all, you know, he gets upset about it. I think people are it's refreshing to see Volkanovski just play the little character and have fun with it, you know what I mean? Right, I'm throwing up the
Yeah, I
card
mean,
there.
like the Ian Gary thing, it's like Ian Gary. Ian Gary is a victim of the like only Connor can be Connor. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he came out and
Yeah.
tried to be Connor, and then when he got a dish back at him, he didn't like it. He's trying to play the moral high ground, like my wife and my son, and it's like, didn't you have the last fella's t-shirt? You had a t-shirt out, and then I says, so it's like. That's what I'm saying. It's always fun and games. It's like when I'm always having jokes with people, and I always joke saying, "Oh no, it's only funny when I'm slagging yours," and that's kind of what Gary's doing. He's actually doing it on a world stage, and I'm only joking when I say it. He's doing it on a world stage. I can do it, just don't do it back to me. When I do it, it's okay, but when you do it to me, then it's bad for this reason. We can all justify why something is bad. So he's absolutely just. He's just lost the crowd, and it's such a shame because
It's cringy,
his
isn't
attitude
it?
at the start was he was very vanilla.
Yeah.
No, sorry, just at the start he was very 50-50 with people because
Well, he was still
some
cringy.
people
I used
didn't like
to
the
find him
brashness, but
cringy
other
when
people just liked how he fought.
he'd be doing his post-fight interviews, and he'd be doing the whole McGregor thing and all. He'd be like, "Oh, right, like okay, you know, I'm trying to like it. You know, you're an Irish lad. You're fighting well. You're doing the cringy talk at the end of the fight and all. I get it, right? But and you were trying to like him. You were trying to support him, and then he just does so much that you're just like, oh, you're just. And he seems like an actually nice lad when he's being genuine. It becomes this Kobe Covington thing, you know. When you see Kobe and he switches the character off, he seems like a genuinely nice bloke, but then he throws the character on. You're just like, oh, fuck, dude, do we have to do this? And then he starts getting tetchy about it and upset
And that's why
and
I'm saying.
annoyed.
Sorry, trying to finish. That's what I was saying. Like only Connor can be Connor, because when you're going to try and be Connor, then and when people are saying shit to Connor, he just bounces off him. And when and Connor can then double it back. But the first time Gary was tested, he just fucking folded. And now it's going to be so hard. Even if he starches Neil in the first round, nobody's.
Well, we're not going to be that impressed because Jeff Neal. Well, like Jeff Neal's last couple of fights haven't been great. He's a good fighter, but I remember there was one where he didn't even look like he was fight ready. He was getting punched in the stomach and he's belching and all. Like, he just didn't look fight fit. And I think his last one, didn't he get beat by Bladen Wonder Boy or something like that? I'd have to go through the fights. But Jeff Neal hasn't been setting the world on fire. Neil Magny hadn't been setting the world on fire with his recent fights, you know what I mean? So if he beats Jeff Neal, all right, like, you're doing what you're supposed to do, but you're like, everyone's tuning in waiting for you to just get volleyed in the head and then laugh at you, you know what I mean? That's where people aren't behind him the way they kind of were at the start. They weren't excited to see how far he can go. Now they're kind of hoping he gets knocked out, I think. But anyway, let's jump into some fight picks here, see what you think. First off the bat, we may as well, we'll build up to it, will we? So, Hernandez, Aliskerov cancelled. Hernandez, Kopylov is decent. Hernandez should be a good scrap, but we'll get into.
Kopylov, I heard of him. He's good.
Yeah, Kopylov is decent. Like, he's fucking good hands he has, and he's knocked a couple of people out. But let's see, what was his last fight? Did he show you here? No. I wish they fucking had it laid out better for you. But anyway, Merab and Cejudo. What do you think there?
It's kind of a head and heart situation, isn't it? But no. Actually, I think Dvalishvili, I can't say his name. I think he's going to win. I want him to win, and I think he's going to win.
Yeah,
So
I think. To be honest, like, he would be champion or would be fighting for the title now if he would be fighting for the title now if he hadn't kind of said, I'm not going to fight, what's his face, Aljamain. So he's pretty much a title contender. Cejudo, after that long layoff, he looked all right, I suppose, against Aljo when he came back, but I don't know. I see Marab is kind of he puts that sort of pace on. He just grapple fucks everyone. He won't let up. He won't stop. He'd be in your face the whole time. He'd be up against the cage. He'd be fucking trying to get takedowns, and I can see him grinding out a 3-round decision against Cejudo. It'd be tight. There'd be some good wrestling exchanges, but ultimately I think his pace and pressure will see out today. Like, I can't see Cejudo really knocking him out. There might be an outside chance, but I can't really see a knockout. I can see it just being a high level grappling kind of wrestling match, because it can when two lads are good wrestlers
as well. Like.
Yeah, when they're good wrestlers, they tend to do stand up, but Marab doesn't even fucking around with that. He just keeps getting in your face, keeps getting hands on you, keeps pushing you up against the fence. He's just pressure. So if he goes for that game plan, I think he wins a 3-round decision, personally. Next one, pretty much, yeah. So Jeff Neal, Ian Gary, we kind of touched on it, I suppose. Just give what do you think?
Ian Gary. I think Ian Gary finish him 4 second round.
Yeah, you think he catches him with something, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's like Ian Gary, as in for all his fucking faults, he's a great fighter, like, and he's potential to be the champ, like.
What I will say on it is, what is it? Arsenal score.
2-0 to Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal, right? What I will say, Ian Gary against Ting in his last fight, he played it very safe. He played it very safe when he could have finished the fight. He seemed to just what wasn't he? He was fucking. He had what's his name? Can't remember his name now. Like, he couldn't even fucking stand. What's Neil Magny? He had Magny literally fucking couldn't stand.
Ian Gary injured himself. Did he not know?
I don't know. But he had Magny. He had Magny B, and he comfortably won the 3 rounds. But he didn't risk going for the finish. And I find Jeff Neal is a lot similar in terms of Magny. He's tough, he's durable, he's all those things. But I think he's a better chance of, if he catches you with something, he can do damage to you. So I think if Ian Gary, if he's standoffish in terms of he's comfortable staying on the outside and catching him with things, and he's not going in for the kill and the finish, there is a risk of him maybe getting caught with something. But I think he just maybe plays it safe, and I think he gets the decision. Unless he comes out with the attitude of, fuck it, I want to get a finish here and make a statement. Then we have a good fight in our hands, and I see Ian Gary probably getting the finish, personally. So that'd be my shout on that. Word. Whittaker Costa. What do you think, Red?
Right. This is a tough one, because again, it's hard to tell with Costa because nobody's seen him in fucking 7 years, like. And Whittaker's just a stud. He's a really fucking. It's a tough one. This is a tough one to call. Like, this is literally 50-50 to me. But I'm going to say Whittaker because he's just been fighting.
Yeah. Like, when Duplessis knocked out Whittaker, let's be honest, it kind of took everyone by surprise. Spurs 1-0, is it? Right. Yeah, kind of caught everyone by surprise, I think, how easily Duplessis finished Whittaker, because Whittaker's a dog. Like, you think of his Romero fights, Brunson fight, even his Adesanya fights, they're usually fucking dog fights. You know what I mean? You know he has skills, ability. He can get stuck in. He can cause damage. Um, Costa, I mean, it's always the antics, isn't it? You never know what the fuck you're gonna get with Paulo Costa. Like his last fight with what's his name, Rockhold. It was a bad fight. It looked terrible. Aesthetically, it looked like it was like the Nick Diaz fight all over again, wasn't it? It was like two old legends in there that shouldn't still be fighting. Like they were both breathing out their mouth after about fucking 2 or 3 minutes. They were, the hands down, throwing haymakers after the first round, like they were on their last legs. We normally see fighters in the third round and they're after battering each other for the 3 rounds, and they're literally hands down, and anyone can fucking connect and hurt someone. Where that was like the first round in that fight. But he looks in condition this time. He was probably unlucky when he was meant to fight. What was it? I think it was October, wasn't it? Or one October, November card. He was meant to fight, and he what happened to him? He got staff or something, wasn't it? He had to pull out last minute. Who was he fighting?
Sorry, I was just trying to fix my sentence.
He's fighting Hamzat, wasn't it? He was meant to fight Hamzat, and the week of it he pulled out. So again, it's been a long time since he fought. You don't really know what Costa you're gonna get. Whittaker's a dog. I think he just personally had an off night against Duplessis, or Duplessis is maybe just that good. But
Duplessis is a stud as well, man. In fairness, like
yeah,
and Whittaker, I think Whittaker's the sort of fighter that if the fight suits him, he's a fucking hit. Yeah. And I think Costa suits him a little bit. I'm gonna go with Whittaker, and it's 50-50, but I'm saying Whittaker.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Whittaker because I think he has a lot of ways of finishing the fight. He can go with decision. He can grapple. He can wrestle a bit as well. So I think if he gets in a bit of a firefight with Costa and he doesn't like it, he can change tactics. Where I think Costa tends to, if the firefight isn't working for him, he keeps going back to the firefight. You know what I mean? And he can get caught in that. But I don't know. I'll go with decision with a guy. I think I'll go decision. I think that's the most likely outcome, personally. And then the main event, Volkanovski, Topuria. What's your thoughts on this, Red?
Yeah. Right, so again, like I'm gonna say Volkanovski, but Topuria is so fucking good, and he hits so hard that like I think what Volkanovski's gonna do is, because I think there's a stat where Topuria hasn't even thrown a kick or something like that in his UFC career, or in his last 5 fights or something like that. Like, he hasn't even thrown a kick. So I think Volkanovski's gonna get in and try and ragdoll him and make it a dirty wrestling, just get on top of him. Like, I think this is gonna be one of the worst fights of the night. For like aesthetically for the fans, I think Volkanovski's just gonna smother him like for 5 rounds and just outpoint him. And then I think Topuria will get very tired of it in the 3rd and 4th round, and maybe Volkanovski will finish him in the late rounds. But if Topuria can land a clean shot on Volk, it could fucking end very quickly.
Well, what he done to Emmett was impressive. But what I would say is I don't think Emmett is in the same stratosphere of a fighter as Volkanovski is. I think people forget. You're right.
Yeah, but
I agree with
you. That Emma's not in the same stratosphere as Topuria as well.
No, that's true. No, but what I'm saying is, in terms of how impressive the fight was, like when you think back to what Volkanovski done to Islam in that first fight, when you think back to what Volkanovski has done in 3 fights against Max Holloway, you can go back as far as what he done to Aldo and all that, but even established as he is now with his body of work, and then you take Topuria, and Topuria's highlight is what he done to Emmett. So that's just where I'm taking it from. Yes, what he done was impressive to Emmett, but I don't think Emmett isn't in the same stratosphere as Volkanovski. So my argument being that we haven't really seen anything from Taporia against really high level competition. So I think you're spot on in your assessment in that I think it's going to be not a boring fight, but I think Volkanovski is going to shut him down and show him there's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? He'll do what he done with Max Holloway. He'll do what he done with Yair. He'd be on the outside. He'd be very technical. He won't let Taporia get close to him to land those big shots. He'll make it gritty. He'll try and tire him out. He'll try grapple. He'll get in and get out. He'll use leg kicks and stuff like that. I think Taporia, I think he knows he's not going in there for a war because they're not going to stand and bang. I don't think that's going to happen. What you seen in the last Volkanovski fight against Islam, from listening to him afterwards and all, taking it on short notice, I think he got a bit desperate because he knew he didn't have the gas tank to go 5 rounds. So he's like, fuck it, let's go and see what happens. And he got head kicked and knocked out. He's going to be so tactical this time. He's going to be frustrating. He's going to, it's not going to be a pretty fight. It's going to be like what he's doing with Holloway. He's going to try and shut him down. He's going to stay on the outside. He won't let him get into range. Stuff like that. He's very good at that when he fights tactically. Because a lot of them fights with Max Holloway were very close, but they were very tactical. Like watching Adesanya say, really tactical fights and, bank your rounds. See where we are after 3-4 rounds. See, do we need to change the game plan or do we keep going? Do we get a 5-round decision, So I can see it kind of going that way, and I can see him maybe shutting down Taporia, and you're not really getting to see, this is his first time on the big stage, title fight. He's doing fucking documentaries and all. He thinks he's got the belt already, and then you get in there and Volkanovski's just a different animal. You think he's going to stand and bang with you, and he's not. He's just sit on the outside popping kicks at you for the whole fight. You know what I mean? Be very tactical about it. So, I
think I think the party is in for the bit of a shock.
He's not going to go in there and start him. Volkanovski's too good for that.
I think he may be able for it.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. He's untested at this level, let's just say. So it's hard to. You can't really give him credit for things he hasn't done yet. That'd be my point. So I'm going off Volkanovski's body of work. I think he's going to go in there and try and just shut him down completely in every area. You're not going to get... You think you're going to knock me out? That's not going to happen. You think you're going to grapple the fuck out of me? That's not going to happen. You think you're going to wrestle me? That's not going to happen, And he's just going to fight his fight, be very tactical, frustrate him. And at the end of the fight, you're going to see the party going, what did I do wrong? Why didn't it go right for me? There's not a mark on me. I don't feel like I lost, but I lost. I got shut down. That sort of result. I don't think it's going to go in there and a haymaker in the first round, walk off, head kick, and, I don't think Volkanovski's going to play games there. But I think I think Volkanovski will feel him out, and if he feels that, I have this cunt, he'll go after him as well. You know what I mean? It's high level, when it comes to that. There was a stage in the Islam fight, in the first fight, where you could see in Volkanovski's fuck all this hype. I know I can hold you down. I know I can get out of your wrestling. And it was like a demeanour change within him where he's like, fuck this, I'm going to take you down now. I'm going to get on top of you. I'm going to smash you. So he has that in him where in game he can change tactically depending on what he's facing and what he's up against. And I think he's going to be a little bit of caution because obviously he got knocked out in his last fight, but I think he's going to be very systematic and very tactical. And then if he finds areas where he's going to excel in or where he's better than him, he's going to exploit them. So I think it could be a frustrating fight. It mightn't be the fight of the night, like you're saying. It mightn't be the most pleasing fight to watch, but I think people forget how good Volkanovski is, and we haven't really seen how good the party is. The party goes in there and knocks him out straight out the bat, but he must be one of the best fighters in the world because Volkanovski is one of the best fighters in the world.
Well, the thing about the party as well is that it's not even that's going to be the first round off the bat. It's just if he lands against Volkanovski at any point, he seems to be one of the heaviest hitters in the division. So he just has that danger. So for the whole 5 rounds, Volkanovski is going to have to watch Joe for that as well.
I don't think he plays that game though, Volk. He will sit on the outside and manage distance very well. He tends to do that. Like, I can't. Yeah, there's always the chance that you do get hit with it, but he's proven he can take a hit, and he's proven that he can give it back. You know, so I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm reluctant. I'm reluctant to bet against Volkanovski just because he's so good, and we haven't seen enough at the party to know how good he is yet. I'm hoping to be proven wrong, and then next time around I'll be
We're
like,
going to
nah.
have to actually start doing actual days as well.
You there? Yeah. I think Red's frozen.
We're breaking up.
Frozen, Red. You're breaking up a little bit, yeah. What are you saying? You're going to have to do actual what? Fight picks? Bets?
I was saying we should actually do legit bets when we're doing these and show people our bets.
Yeah, should do. But you know, you never win then. Because it's easy for you to see and go, do you know what's going to happen? He's going to catch him in a guillotine in the third round, bang, and then that happens. But like, if you go, right, I'm going to throw a 5 or a 10 on him, fucking catch him in a guillotine in the third round, it's not a chance. Fucking 5 round snooze fest or something, you know what I mean? It's usually how it goes, but yeah. So anyway, there's the so who are you going with, Red? I'm going Volk.
Yeah, going for Volkanovski. I think it'd be a 5 round decision or a late stoppage.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just if
for Volk.
Yeah, I think if he just figures him out then by the 5th round, he could have worn him out by then. But yeah, like there's no sleeping at the party either. He's fucking he's a nasty character. He's a nasty character, bad man. Right, I have a little story here for you, Red.
It's a dangerous boy for Volkanovski.
Yeah, I have a little story for you. I wasn't huge on the news, but I came across it anyway. You know Quincy Promes, the Dutch player?
I've heard of him, yeah.
Right, so let me see if we can pull this up. I'll have to open it out. Okay, sorry. So anyway, basically, he was involved in drug trafficking. Like a couple of 100 keys of cocaine he was caught trafficking or something.
Allegedly.
He's looking at well, he's sentenced to 6 years, so I don't think it's alleged. I think he done fucked up.
I think that's to say allegedly. Just in case he gets out and it turns out he was actually framed and we're all getting sued then as well for it.
You know what I mean? I think he'd have people higher up on his list than us, but yeah, all right. If you want to go down that road, allegedly.
And out there, we have got like over 200,000 views on some of our videos.
So you have to watch out for this. Yeah, is that what you're saying? Wait, let me see. Hold on, I'm trying to pull it
We're
up.
kind of like elite people, I guess.
Share screen. See, you gonna pull up this story? No, it's fucking acting bollocks, isn't it? Yeah, we just do this. Say. Oi. Quincy Promes, former Dutch international, sentenced to 6 years in prison for drug trafficking. Like, that's mad. I didn't really hear this story. And, like, he's a decent player, I'd have thought. I've seen him, I've heard of him.
Who'd he play for?
So, former Ajax and Seville forward made 50 appearances for the national side, but was struck from the team after he was charged in 2021. So, this is obviously going back a few years. I'd never heard this story. That is mad. 2021. Former Dutch international footballer and once target of Manchester United, Quincy Promes has been sentenced to 6 years in prison in absentia for drug trafficking. Amsterdam District Court ruled the 32-year-old who plays in the Russian Premier League for Spartak Moscow, so he was doing for Putin, was he? Was involved in the import and export of hundreds of kilograms of cocaine in 2020. Proms, who lives in Moscow, did not attend his trial in the Dutch capital and is not expected to return to the Netherlands in the foreseeable future. The cunt's on the run. Prosecutors had asked judges to sentence him to 9 years for his involvement in the smuggling of 1,360 kilograms of cocaine through the port of Antwerp in Belgium to the Netherlands on 2 shipments. The court said phone tapping showed Proms had been directly involved with the shipments of the drugs, hidden in shipments of salt from Brazil, and their further transport from the port. In a written verdict, the court added that Proms got involved in the drugs import despite being a highly paid footballer with legions of fans and followers on social media. This makes it even more objectionable that the suspect tries to increase his wealth and possibly also prestige in certain circles through involvement in large international drug transports, the court said. That's mad. Right. He denied the allegations. He would appeal his sentence. Yeah. So he was last year sentenced in absentia.
And that's why I
to
said
18
allegedly.
months in
He's
jail for
denied it.
assault.
See?
In connection with a fight in 2020 where he stabbed his cousin in the knee. Fuck me. Jesus Christ almighty.
All right.
Well, I've officially heard it all. That's mad.
Yeah, it is kind of the epitome of greed, though, isn't it? Like, if you're earning that much money and then you're still trying to do things to earn little bits of more money, it's just like, you kind of deserve to get caught, I think. And I'm not a hater.
Do you think people like that who have money and maybe they've come from a certain type of upbringing where they're surrounded by criminals and stuff like that, do you think maybe they get suckered into it? So maybe like dare to suggest that he's the mastermind and a criminal drug kingpin and stuff like that, but maybe it was just he's associated and friends of his, you know what I mean, and he's kind of caught up in it that way. Like his name is on the phone of people, like he might.
No,
might
but
be
the whole
directly
point of it
involved
is,
in
right? Right, it's that he made it out of that, so you don't go back in. Like, I'd understand his mates doing it. Fair enough, it's not great, but they aren't multi-millionaire footballers. But when you become a multi-millionaire footballer, you can make legal money with the money that you have and live comfortably for the rest of your life. You don't have to go back. When you escape something, you don't go back to it.
Yeah, but there's nothing there necessarily saying he's directly involved in it. He was named, he was accused or whatever, but I don't know. Yeah. Like,
well, did you not say something about phone calls?
Obviously, like, he's involved in it in some form or fashion. But you know yourself, you hear some of the RICO stuff in America, and like the rappers and stuff like that get caught up in, and it tends to be because they might be the more well-known figure, or a higher tag or a higher profile, that the prosecution tends to go after them because it looks good. It makes for good media. It's a good scalp for them. So if they can associate a more famous individual with a criminal activity and a gang type scenario, they'll throw them in as the main suspect when really they're just mates or associates, but they're not involved in it. They might be, but not highly involved, not top level involved in it. You know what I mean? Could they be targeting him like that? You know what I mean? That it's just his mates are doing. Like Tupac when he went to jail for allegedly sodomizing the woman when apparently it wasn't even him. It was the lads he was with, but it was his name on the indictment. If you believe such things.
Yeah, but again, that's what I'm saying. You need to be an adult in them situations when you don't get involved in that sort of shit when you don't need to. If you're making good money, legit, then you don't need to be getting involved in that sort of shit. Like,
also, footballers aren't
you're
notoriously the smartest people in the world. You know what I mean? No, footballers are notoriously silly people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's fair. That's a fair shout, and a lot of them come from those sort of environments into that, and you're throwing money at them. But time it's your job then to get a handler and get a fucking a decent accountant and somebody that can advise you on where to put your money and stuff like that. And I know that doesn't always work out, but even still, like if I was to win like 3 million quid, I'd just buy a normal house and then just live happily ever after. Just wouldn't work anymore.
That's you, Red, though. You know what I mean? You're happy to live with a few chickens out in the countryside, no human contact. You know what I mean? Other people want the ball. You know? Show out.
But then,
whatever.
Then the risks that come with that. There's risks that come with that, is all I'm saying.
This is it. Right, Red, anything else you fucking think we need to cover there, or we wrap this up?
No, can I just, I want to make a little point here as well, which I just saw as funny. I think it was on, probably not, but maybe it was on Gripped Media. Helen McEntee doesn't see a link between the illegal immigrants that are in here and crime. And I just want to say that it's very scary when the one person in the country that needs to see it can't, and everybody else in the country can't see it. That's the state of Irish justice at the minute. The one person we need to be able to see it can't see it, but everyone else can.
Well, like that goes back to my point I made about that Muslim cleric. You know, like he claims one attack happens and it's everywhere in the media. But I mean, you can go online. You can read stories on Facebook. The local stories, they float around locally, that they never get much attention. But you'll always see these stories popping about, and it's like a woman will put up and say, just want to let everyone know, was down the park there and was fucking followed by two fellas. You know, not going to mention their ethnicity because whatever, but was followed by two fellas. They harassed me, and then one of them tried to grab me, or you know, fucking, I was walking down the road with my kid, and a car pulled up, and the fella jumped out. I read dozens of them in the course of a week, dozens of them. Little stories you hear about a girl might have been raped here somewhere, or someone attacked, lads jumped on. You see videos, they get no attention whatsoever, none. And then you get some tool who's like constantly race baiting in Ireland. Like, you're in Ireland, mate, and you're trying to tell Irish people what they should say, do, and live, how they should live their lives, and how welcoming we should be to these welfare tourists and immigrants that pop into the country and take everything, and nobody here can get anything who are in need of things, and whatever your opinion might be of it. But you want to tell us how we should be, live, and act in our country, mate. You don't like that. There's plenty of Muslim countries right across Northern Africa and on into the Middle East. Go find one of them and tell them how they should live and act, and you know, the way they should invite and accept people into their communities. Don't be fucking saying any of that to us. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. But yeah, he comes out and goes, no evidence, but I was attacked and it was a hate crime, and it's on every news publication. Will Helen McEntee then accept that Ireland isn't safe for immigrants because they're being attacked by the far right? Would that be something she would admit quicker than she'd admit that it's not safe for, you know what I mean? Like, this is the clown world you live in.
But the thing is, nobody watches. Here's the thing as well. Nobody watches RTE anymore, but Helen McEntee does, because she tells them what they publish. And,
she doesn't watch it. She's just on it whenever she needs to promote something.
And no, but what I'm saying is, but the rest of the world is on social media, where we see not only, because even those Facebook posts you're talking about, you have to take them with a pinch of salt, because yes, although they may be true, they also might not be. But
true.
It's the videos. There's literal video evidence of
when you
on a daily basis.
weigh them up with the video evidence you have,
and that's my issue.
When you see video evidence and then you hear these stories and they're backed up by, you know, some fella posting pictures, and then someone else will talk about it and go, yeah, actually I was there, that was my cousin. Like, there's multiple points of evidence that you like that. Yeah, if it's just a story that's being posted around, 9 times out of 10 you're like, unless I see something else on that. But then you might see a little news article about it, or you'll hear someone else talk about it, or someone will do a video, or someone will post pictures up later afterwards and go, yeah, so look, here's the pictures of the Garda car, there's the knife flying on the ground. Like, you'll gather evidence and go, right, well, I can safely assume that more or less what's being asserted here as the facts are close to the facts. But when someone just makes a claim then on the other side with no evidence, like, and they all have all the media attention that they want to promote this, but violent attacks, like, I've heard stories of people being told that they can't even go on social media by the guard and stuff like that after these violent crimes. They're being told not to go on because it will incite violence and stuff like that. It's like, well, which is it? Like, can you tell the truth when something happens, or do you have to, you know what I mean? Or can you just make up lies and everyone's going to believe it? Like I remember that one Kitty Holland, wasn't it? The journalist went talking about some attack that happened in an encampment down in Finglas or something. She was like, oh, I was there and men just arrived with baseball bats and started shouting immigrants out and all. It's like, right, you're there with cameras and all that, but like, have you any evidence to back up your claim? Well, no. And like, well, when did it happen? Oh, I don't know. And, you know, like, and it's like, what the like, we're supposed to believe
and
you.
then evidence came out to the contrary, though.
Of course, and then this same woman then comes out when those girls were attacked in Parnell Street. This same woman comes out on one of these news talk fucking shows or whatever on RTE or TV3 and starts going, yes, well, you know, us as media, we really need to decide what information is pertinent for the citizens to hear when scenarios like this occur. It's our duty, you know. What do you mean? So you're saying it's our duty to decide what's fit for public consumption and what's not fit? Is that not misinformation and disinformation? Like, so, like, yeah. I get frustrated.
And the proof is in the pudding. Remember that? Remember your man stabbed that illegal immigrant stabbed the tourist in the airport, and the RTA headline was "Tourist injured in airport incident." And then
they start talking about your man had mental health.
Far right bigots, far right racist, and it's like.
Well, it was like, and you seen the same thing with the girl that was stabbed afterwards. The story started coming out and going, well, you know, the guy was maybe dealing with mental health issues. Well, then maybe if this Imam Muslim cleric that was attacked there the other day, maybe the hate crime that was committed was a mental health issue. You know, maybe it was a mental health issue. Someone was dealing with a mental health issue. Who are you to fucking attack someone that has a mental health issue? Then, you know what I mean? They might have walked off and just punched you in the face because they had a mental health issue. You know what I mean? It's the double standards that frustrates and annoys, doesn't it? You know, and we're moving in circles in Ireland, dangerously close to even the things we're discussing here can get you in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. That's where we're moving in Ireland now. That's where freedom of speech is moving to. And then you look at this constitutional change thing that they're looking to bring in, and they want to change the terminology of what a family is and what a relationship is, and then you start looking into it a bit further and you're going, I see what you're trying to do here, right? So if you change it from a marriage being a relationship that's, you know, recognised under the Constitution to like a durable relationship, then all of a sudden these like Muslims who have 16 wives and 400 children can start repatriating all their family over into Ireland as well. You know, it's part of my family and my durable relationships. Who are you under the Constitution to deny me the right to have my, you know what I mean?
Can I just say, underneath that as well, Roger O'Gorman lied about this. Government official, misinformation, came out and said that you should vote yes because if you don't, children in relationships where the parents aren't married have no rights in the Constitution, and that is not true. They're coming out and keep saying lies about what it means.
They tried to say...
and they're the ones that are talking about misinformation and disinformation.
They tried to say that, well, the Constitution, you know, it says that a woman's place is in the home. Does it? I'd love to see that paragraph. Can you show me?
It doesn't say that at all.
Of course it doesn't. And these are the paragons of truth and honesty. And when they talk about, there's misinformation online, and, you know, people are talking about like polygamous relationships and all will be recognised under this bill and all. It's like, all right, you laugh at the end there, but I didn't hear you deny it. You didn't go, there's disinformation about these types of relationships that will be will now be considered under this thing. This is absolute lies. You never said that. You just laughed and said it was disinformation, but you never denied it. You know, like look, the games are being caught right off the bat. When the media is completely controlled by the government and completely controlled by NGOs and stuff like that, it's easy for them to get information out, but it's very hard for them to gauge whether that information is actually landing with anyone other than bots, NGOs, or government workers, because there's no platform for anyone else to have an opinion. So I think they could be in for a fucking very, very, very big surprise come May 8th or March 8th, or maybe not. Maybe they're expecting a backlash from people, but I think they could get a fucking serious slap on the wrist with this in terms of people basically telling them to go fuck themselves with this, because they're not allowing balanced discussion. So they just assume, well, we've told people that this is what's to happen, and we won't release the minutes of the discussions we've had within government organisations with NGOs as to what will be in the Constitution and what will the wording be and how will the law be affected by the change in the terminology. The people don't need to understand or be able to sift through any of this information to make an informed choice. We don't want you to know any of this. So they've denied freedom of information requests for all these minutes of these meetings that they've had. They just expect you to do what you're told. And I think this could be an opportunity where a lot of people who are pissed off at what's going on now are just going to go, do you know what? I don't even know what's in this or what it means or who it's going to benefit or whether it's right or wrong. But if you're for it, I'm against it. If Roderick O'Gorman is a horrible individual like him is saying, we need to do this because blah, 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 and everything he says has been caught in a lie, well then you just do the opposite. You can't be too far wrong then, you know?
Well, it's not even that, like, because you know why, and this is the good thing about it as well, is, and by using RTE, they called all these people that were illegal immigrants, which everyone should be because they're illegal. Everyone who's against this, they called them all far right. So all the RTE viewers that are out there protesting this, they're calling me far right. So now the grannies who are hard to get on board are now realising that the government are full of shit and RTE is full of shit and mainstream media is full of shit. So even the target audience who they used to have banker, who used to call us the conspiracy theorists, are kind of going, actually, yeah, no, he's alright. So they've lost them as well. They hadn't got us, but they've lost people that they had. So we're gaining ground, and they aren't.
And to bring it back to where we started, I think see this plastic thing that they brought in. I think what they've managed to do with this is even the people who have good intentions in their hearts that were easily led during all the COVID stuff, you know, the people who were just like, you know, I don't know what's right or wrong, but like I don't want to hurt me granny or whatever, so we'll just do whatever just to keep people safe. Even those people now have been inconvenienced by this bollocks with the plastics. You know, they'd be like, my ma can't get out the gaff. She gets all her food delivered and all her water and all her stuff. How is she meant to bring back her plastic? Like, they've managed to just piss off everybody. And I think everybody is just frustrated to the point where they're like, is there any way we can just show a fuck you to these cunts in government? Anyway, just even a small one. Just a little like, do you know what? I'm sick of you bastards. How can I get one back in them? And I think they're going to use this as a specific opportunity to go fuck yourselves, cunts. I'm hoping.
Hopefully.
I don't hold out much hope for the fucking normies and retards that live in Ireland, but I hope there's like some semblance of fucking pride and, you know, a little bit of nationalism, so to speak. 1-1, and Spurs are 1-1 as well, aren't they?
Yeah, Arsenal's 3-0 up as well.
I need Spurs to win to stay in me last man standing. It'll be the only time you hear me say, "Come on, Spurs, you wankers." It's certainly well, Liverpool won today, Arsenal won today, and Villa are winning at the moment, aren't they? So it puts a little bit more emphasis on the Man City Chelsea game later. You know, Man City have to get a win there to It's interesting. I think it's good. I think it's good Arsenal are back. I think it'd be good to see Villa back. It'd be good to see Spurs win and keep everything nice and condensed and tight and interesting at the top of the division. Yeah. So
Well,
anyway, Red,
Spurs.
fuck Spurs. Not
Then we
except for
get
today. Win today, Spurs, and then you can fucking do Spursy things. Right. I think we'll wrap it up there. We've knocked out an hour there, and it's good to be back. To wrap up,
It's good to be back. We'll do a few more.
we'll be back. We'll be back soon. We'll be doing these on the regular. A couple of boys after popping in there. Carlos, mate, you up, lads? Nice and bud. What else have we got in here? Yeah, a few other comments. Mark and the villains. Good lads. Right,
Holy Watkins.
folks, it's been a pleasure. Thanks to everyone who tuned in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
You see, I'm back.